call is Coach Rick Comegy from Jackson State. The Tigers this weekend had a wild game against Texas Southern. Came up on the upper end of that one, 45-35. Coach Comegy, are you with us on the call?
Yes, I am.
How you doing this morning?
Doing pretty good. Thank you.
All right, pretty wild game down there on Saturday. This weekend, you are at home. Jackson hosts Southern University, 4 o'clock on Saturday. Your reflections from Saturday and the upcoming week.
Well, Saturday's game was exactly what you're saying. It was a shootout, and both teams, I thought, went after it, with their heart and soul, and we're just happy to come out on the winning end of it. They're a tough football team. They got after it really well, and and coach doing a fine job down there with that team, and could have went either way. I know that they were playing at their stadium, opened a new stadium up, and they were full of vinegar and fire, and I'm just glad that we were able to come out on top and and get this win under our belt. We needed it, and we give God the praise for it. And coming up, Southern is definitely a team that we don't know much about right now since I guess the mishappenings that's happened down there. So we just got to prepare for everything from a defensive standpoint of view, and from an offensive standpoint of view, we just have to try to continue putting points on the board and getting better and better each week. We're hoping to peak here soon. We haven't reached the level that I'd like to see us reach just yet as a team, but I see it coming, and I think that as we continue playing down and going down the road, I think our football team will get better and better. It's what I'm hoping for, and it looks like they're heading that way. But we definitely needed to taste victory this week in order to get everything rolling for us. And I'm glad that we were able to get that win and survive that tough game that we just played.
All right, this weekend you're at home against Southern. Southern's going to really be hungry for a win after their loss last Thursday. Talk about that game coming up.
Well, there's no doubt, they're definitely going to be hungry for a win, and we just got to get ready, and we got to watch as much film, we got to study, and we got to set a good game plan, and they're going to come in tough. It was a very tough game they played against Mississippi Valley. Mississippi Valley is playing good football from what I can see on film. The guys are running to the ball and doing a great job. So, you can't judge Southern on thinking that they played the old Mississippi Valley, because they're playing a good Mississippi Valley football team. And, and it was a tight game. And so, we just got to get ready, on our side to be able to see what we can find and where we can, make some openings for our offense, and also be able to come up with some big plays defensively.
All right, questions for Coach Rick Comegy from Jackson State.
Hey, Coach Comegy, Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting. Good morning.
Hey, Ty, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. Rick, have you been in a situation like this before? You go in facing a team that just changed head coaches, and if so, what has it been like?
Well, I be honest with you, I don't think I can ever recall a situation where I played a team that changed coaches in the midstream. I just think it's somewhat, you just don't know what to expect, from the new guy coming in, how he's going to, run his offense or exactly the approach they're going to take. And I guess right now we just got to get ready for anything and hope that our base, if it is something that we can handle or haven't seen before, that we have enough ground floor in a base offense and a base defense that, we can make it a quick adjustment and play. And that's what I'm hoping to do right now, is be able to make adjustments and if there's something we haven't seen on film.
Do you know anything about Dawson Odoms, who was coaching their defense?
No, I don't, Ty. I really don't know anything about him. I think some of the coaches may knew. I think he was I forget what one of the coaches we met yesterday, and some of the coaches said they knew him but not as a coordinator, I guess as a receiver coach, I think. And so it's hard to tell, what's going to happen there.
Can you talk to me about one of your players, Joseph LeBeau, All-American last season, and what kind of year he's having, and what kind of leadership he brings to your defense?
Well, he finally woke up a little bit, in this game here. I thought he had a outstanding game. The first two games, I didn't think he played I felt LeBeau should play. As it was said, you play for the number, you play for what's across your chest, not what's on your back, and so I think he's finally settled into playing for Jackson State and making wins, and I think he's going to be better as we go down the road here because he really turned the lights on the other night.
What happened to trigger that, in your opinion?
I think just the will to win. He saw the other guys out there. It's a group of guys, blood, sweat, and tears, and he joined in, and he enjoyed it because that's the way he started out, and I think that's the way he needs to finish up if he plans on doing it, having anything further in football, as the season ends.
And, Coach, offensively, can you tell us a little bit more about Rico Richardson? That's a lot of yardage for a wide receiver in one game.
Rico's an outstanding receiver. He's a guy that just makes, some magic catches, balls that you don't think he's going to catch. He can come down with them, and he can get deep in a hurry, or he can come across the middle. He's just a guy who's, very smart, very heady, can read zones well, and can do some good things when he can blow by you if you just go to sleep on him. So, I just think, he could have a future depending on who needs a guy, similar to has Rico's talents. I just want him to finish out his career here on a good note and not be thinking outside the lines just yet.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Comegy, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports Page. How are you?
How you doing today?
Talk to me about how you decided to go with Clayton Moore and what particular skill set he brings.
Well, we wanted to do a little bit more, in a way of, running a quarterback a little bit more, and we felt that Clayton, in practice showed that he could do some good checks and run the football, and he's not a bad runner, and he'll take a beating for you, and so and he can throw, but I just thought that we just needed to make a change that morning. We went, not saying that McDonald was playing bad football. As a matter of fact, McDonald was playing good football for us, but I think sometimes you need to have a change. You need to change for the team, not just for the player himself. And I think he lifted the team and gave us a spark that we needed to fight hard, to set the charge. And once we noticed that happening, it worked out well for us. I think everybody joined in, bargained in, and went for the gold. And I'm not saying that McDonald could not have done that. I'm just saying that the kids seemed to get that charge and went for the race, once he got in there and started executing plays and giving up his body playing ball. And so it worked out well for us, and I'm just glad, that we made the change. And I'm sure down the road McDonald will see a lot of football, but I think at that time and date that we needed a spark, and I think he was the spark we needed.
What's his classification, his size, and how did you get him?
Well, he was a kind of a local guy. He went up and transferred up to from Akron University and transferred in here. I think he has, maybe 2 years left. I think maybe 1 or 2 years left. 2 years left to play for us, and so we're happy to have him. And he's in sync. He's learning the offense. He, according to the offensive coordinator, he hasn't got it all down just yet. But I think the more reps that he get, he'll catch up in a hurry. But what he does for us is enough to keep us competitive out there on the field.
How big is he?
He goes about maybe 6'2". I would say maybe maybe 190, maybe close to 200.
And he was a quarterback at Akron?
Yes, he was. He was a local kid here. I think was a four-star athlete in high school. He won a state championship here in Mississippi, and he went to Mississippi Gulf Coast at first, and then up to Akron.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Coach Mark Gray from HSRN. How are you?
How are you today?
All right. Talk about what it was like when you were struggling early in the season to keep the team motivated, because you got some challenges as far as when you're not having success and, not being able to complete for a championship. What was your motivation to keep the guys focused, grounded, and come out with a spirited effort like they did last week?
Well, we played some good teams. We played Mississippi State and we took a beating there, and then we come back and played a real good Tennessee State, and they're playing good football right now. And and we had to kind of just watch film and continue teaching and not try to dig them in the dirt. They felt bad enough, that what was going on in the loss, and so we had to change up practice. We did a lot of changes in practice. We'd go out on a Wednesday, which is full pads, and go out with no pads. And I think when you lose, you got to change things so they see a change, and hopefully the change is for the best. And so we kind of kept them up that way and did some things that kept football exciting to them. That they didn't go out there every day the same old drudgery, and then they lose the fun out of football because. And I try to keep the fun in it as much as I could at practice so that we could survive through the downtime. And it kind of worked. We came out and, on top, we kind of loosened up on the trip on the way down. We were going to let the guys go over to the mall and walk around, just to kind of, get football off their mind for a minute or two, but they were tired after a long trip and just wanted to go to bed, so we kind of kept the trip easy, and let them, get a little loud during dinner, when you let them laugh a little bit instead of, it being so intense, and just try to bring a different flavor to it. And they went, and I think it worked, and they went out and threw down for us for 4 quarters, and we were pleased by it.
Do you have a scenario in place where you will shuttle in your quarterbacks? Are there moments in the game where, all right, I might want to go back to McDonald because he can do this at this moment in the game? Are you coaching that position by feel right now, or do you have one guy that you would like to give the ball to, he run it for 60 minutes?
Well, I'm a 60-minute type guy. I'm kind of old-fashioned like that. And if a guy is our quarterback, he's our quarterback. And I'm not looking at trying to shift. If a guy gets hurt and he can't go, or if he's not hot and he got to make a change, I'd rather look at it going that way. We had to make a change there, and I know that I don't think. Maybe McDonald maybe is happy, about the change, as one would be, but we have to, as head coaches and we have to make decisions that we think is best for the body. And at the time, we thought that decision was best, and we got to go with who's hot. If the young man gets in there and he's not hot, then we got to go with McDonald, hope that he's hot, because McDonald can play. And again, I'm not taking anything away from McDonald's attributes. He's come back and done a fine job for us and putting the ball on the money. A lot of things happened that prevented him from having the success, but we needed to move the football and move the football within the red zone, and this young man has done that for us, and we want to see if he can continue.
Can you talk about looking at Southern on tape offensively, the type of challenges that they may present for you as far as your defense is concerned?
Well, we just don't know yet. We know that they're a set team, like a pro-style set team, which they were before. With the tight end and eye backs, and give you the different colors in the backfield. But we don't know what to expect. But then we know they'll open up and go to 2-by-2 or 3-by-1 or something of that nature, and they'll do a lot of motion and shifting, things of that nature. But I think we just settle into the base of what we play. It should fit with some of the things that they do. So we don't know how they're going to come at us with a new coordinator at this point.
So for you, it's really more as you go into this. Your game plan is then to focus basically on what you do and do it well, and then adjust to whatever wrinkles they throw at you, if you will.
That's the only thing you can do. You got to do what you do, and then make adjustments from there.
I'd like to thank Coach Rick Comegy for coming on and joining us this morning. Jackson State is at home this weekend, hosting Southern. That's a Saturday afternoon, 4 o'clock kickoff. Thanks, Coach Comegy. Thank you for coming on with us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you very much.
All right. That was Coach Rick Comegy from Jackson University.